I bet you're going to have an instinct to dog on this result from Vanderbilt. 31-7 over South Carolina. How important is LaNorris Sellers? How important can one quarterback be for a team? I present to you 31-7 in Columbia. Rank Vanderbilt. There is no way, even with Sellers going out, there is no way you could possibly justify not ranking Vanderbilt inside the top 20. I understand that there's going to be a hesitation. There's going to be a desire, an instinct from people to just shout down, no, it's Vanderbilt. No, LaNorris Sellers went out of the game. No. 31-7 is more than just a quarterback not being there. Does LaNorris Sellers play defense? Nope. Could he help sustain some drives perhaps to make the defense less tired? Sure. Maybe they hold Vanderbilt to another field goal. But Vanderbilt was a better football team. They just were. And you know what? Good for the Commodores. Vibes, high. Vibes absolutely high. As high as it goes. Vanderbilt's an outright winner this week. And I only put South Carolina in the lean-lose department. Because you know what? If LaNorris Sellers can come back this year, you could still accomplish all of your goals. It's still within reach. This is a disappointing outcome. I think you would have hoped that your defense could pull you through a bit on your home field, and instead they gave up a 31-piece to Vanderbilt. But look, Diego Pavia doesn't always put up the best numbers, but he's just got a moxie about him. He's just got a winning attitude about him. Vanderbilt was 50% on third down in this game, 101 on fourth down. There really weren't that many yards. South Carolina actually outgained Vanderbilt in this one. But again, I go back to, this is a Vanderbilt team that they just win. They're playing winning football. They are 3-0. And the Commodores should not be overlooked. They're going to win their next two games. Are you ready for 5-0 ranked Vanderbilt? Remember, this is a Vanderbilt team that last week went on the road to Blacksburg, played a Power 4 opponent, Virginia Tech, and in the second half went on a 34-0 run. They were down 10 at the half, 34-0 run. Okay. Now they just went on the road to the number 11 team in the country, and they beat them 31-7. LaNorris Sellers does not play defense. Vanderbilt's just a good football team. It's difficult to accept. It's difficult to wrap your head around. But guess what? They play Georgia State and Utah State at home for their next two games. They're going to have a couple wins, and then they play the meat of their schedule. Alabama, LSU, Missouri, Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee. And then we'll see where they can go. But you know what? Diego Pavia gave a, shall we call it Thomas Castellanos-esque sort of quote in the offseason. He wanted to come back to Vanderbilt, get an extra year of eligibility, which he got from the NCAA. Why? Because he said, I want to go win an SEC championship. I want to go win a national championship. Well, you may have heard that and thought, he's just talking. It's just words. It's just Diego Pavia. He's cool. He's fun, whatever. Well, here's Vanderbilt. How would you feel? Like, I've had to make this example a couple times throughout the week because it can be difficult. I made this point when talking about Arizona, and then, of course, I didn't follow my own advice, and I picked Kansas State to win the game like a fool because Kansas State's apparently this year's Florida State. But Arizona played their first two games and looked really impressive in all facets against two inferior opponents. And I said, all right, Arizona does that. You're going to brush it off. What if a preseason perceived contender had done that? Would you not then feel justified in having confidence in them going forward? So if LaNorris Sellers does go out of the game, and this is being played in Columbia, what if Tennessee were in South Carolina and won 31-7? What if Ole Miss won this game in South Carolina 31-7? What if Alabama did it? It would be Bama is back. Look at what they did. I don't think because of the Sellers injury, you can confirm immediately, Vanderbilt is a contender. You have to at least be able to look at them and respect them and understand that they were a 7-6 team last year, brought back a good amount of that production, including but not limited to their head coach and their quarterback. Good starting point, unless you're Clemson, of course. Good starting point. And Diego Pavia's got that locker room playing with a different type of momentum. And this is another thing I thought about while I was driving home from the game I was calling about Vanderbilt. When a coach has the opportunity to go to a school that's been a bottom feeder, like Vanderbilt, there are always people that ask, why would you take that job? Who wants that job? Clark Lee is showing you. Kurt Cignetti at Indiana has shown you. And whoever turns around UCLA one day will also show you that if you've actually got what it takes and you have an actually high level of self-belief about your values as a coach and how you can translate that onto the field, then you can go and succeed anywhere. And Clark Lee is succeeding at Vanderbilt again. He's going to be 5-0 with an SEC slate coming up. That's awesome stuff. Vanderbilt fans, whoever they are out there, absolutely deserve it. How could they not? Now for South Carolina. LaNorris Sellers better get healthy. Because no, I don't believe, frankly, based on how this game played out, I think Vanderbilt wins even if LaNorris Sellers plays. I do. And that's not going to be a very popular opinion. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I will still sleep just fine tonight. I do not believe that South Carolina's offense would have had just 7 points. So that tells me that pretty clearly Luke Doty is not going to lead you to where you had the potential to go before this season began. And if Sellers comes back, hey, you can still get there. It's a lot tougher, but you can still get there. 9-3 SEC, didn't get in last year. Maybe it does this year. Maybe Sellers comes back, you get on a roll, you finish 10-2. Or this might wind up being the lost season for South Carolina, the one that could have been if our quarterback hadn't gotten hurt. Or if our defense had been able to give us a better performance against Vanderbilt. That is where this is at for South Carolina. I think it's only one of those two directions. I don't think that Doty's going to be able to turn him around. I'm happy to be proven wrong. He might have a chance. I hope he doesn't, because we want to watch LaNorris Sellers play football. He's awesome. He's a really exciting, fun, dynamic player to watch at the quarterback position, and it would stink if he's out the rest of the year or if he's in and out a bunch the rest of the season, but that's the way that this feels for South Carolina. With this game, with the schedule they still have going forward, remember, it's tough. It is really, really tough for South Carolina. They have got Missouri on the road next week, and Missouri has looked good. Bo Pribula has looked great so far. Kentucky then, that shouldn't be hard. LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. And they still have to play Clemson, but Clemson doesn't actually look very good at the moment. So if he's not able to come back from the concussion, could just wind up being a lost season for South Carolina. And I would hate that for the Gamecocks. I really would. I do love this for Vanderbilt, though. Clark Lee and the boys, they are rolling. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. Until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.